students, today we are going to learn about the poem Jazz Poem 2 written by Carl Wendell Hines Jr. Okay, so now let us know about the poet Carl Wendell Hines Jr. Okay, he is an Afro-American poet, a teacher, born in Wilson, North Carolina in 1940. His father was a math teacher and a self-taught musician. His mother was an elementary school teacher. Hines was also interested in music, especially jazz. Later, he chose to become a teacher and he taught for 35 years. And he is well known for his poem, A Dead Man Dream. Okay, so now let us know about the poem, Jazz. What is meant by jazz? Jazz is a type of music which was invented in the United States. Okay, it's a combination of African American music. Okay, so it's a music of a Black American origin. Okay, and jazz was the first to become popular in the year 1910. Okay, and the most commonly used instrument to play the jazz were saxophone, trumpet, guitar, piano and drums. Okay, and this poem Jazz is full about the jazz musician. Okay, this poem is a description about the jazz musician. Okay, and this poem contains the lines and it doesn't contain the paragraph. Okay, there are about 45 lines and all those lines give the description about the jazz musician. You know what is the meaning of musician? The musician is a person who plays the music, right? Okay, so jazz musician is a pathetic figure. So what do you mean by pathetic figure? He is a sad and a mysterious figure. Okay, but he had a command. He is a commanding artist. That means he had a command over the music. Okay, and he has the power to make the people listen. Okay, that is he had a gift of that make people to listen to the music, okay, which everybody doesn't have that. Okay, then it is said that he had no interest. It means he was not at all interested in the worldly life or in the earthly life. Okay, he was pathetic. So jazz musician has been sent here to preach the gospels of music. That means gospel of jazz. Okay, what do you mean by gospel? It's a religious music, okay, in which religious songs are sung. So jazz musician has been sent here to preach the black gospel of music. Okay, so now I'll read the poem, children. Poem is like this. There he stands, see, like a black ancient mariner, his wrinkled old face so full of wearies of leaving is turned towards with the closed eyes. His frayed collar, faded blue, old shirt turns dark with the sweat, and the old necktie undone drops loosely about the worn old jacket, just barely holding his sagging stomach in. Yeah, his run-down shoes have a paper in them, and his rough, unshaven face shows pain in each wrinkle, but there he stands in self-brought solitude head. Still down eyes, still closed ears, perked and trained upon the bass line for across the chest lies an old alto saxophone. Supported from his neck by a wire coat hanger, gently he lifts it now to parted lips, see, to tell all the world that he is a black man, that he has sent there to preach the black gospel of jazz. Now preaching it with the words of screaming notes and chords, he is no longer a man, no, not even a black man, but a bird, one that gathers his wings and flies high, high, higher until he flies away or come back to find himself a black man again. Okay, so now I'll explain the poem. Okay, first stanza. There he stands, see, like a black ancient mariner, His wrinkled old face, so full of the worries of living, is turned downward with closed eyes. There he stands. Who is he refers to here? Here he refers to jazz musician. Okay. There he stands. So he refers to jazz musician. Where is he standing? He is standing on the crest of the hill, that is on the top of the hill. So he is standing on the top of the hill. Okay. There he stands. See. So he here refers to jazz musician. So he is standing on the hill. Okay. Like a ancient mariner. Okay. So who is this ancient mariner? Okay. So ancient mariner is a reference to the poem. That is Rim of the Ancient Mariner. It is a story written by Samuel Coleridge. Okay. So Ancient Mariner is one of the character in this story of Samuel Coleridge. So Rim means difficulties. Okay. So I think you all understood. Ancient Mariner. It is one of the character in the story of Rim of the Ancient Mariner written by Samuel Coleridge. Okay. So here this Ancient Mariner, one of the character, what does he do? He shoots an albatross. Albatross means a bird of a good omen. Okay. So Ancient Mariner, he shoot a bird called as albatross and suffer supernatural punishment. Okay. So I'll tell the story now. Okay, Ancient Mariner, as I told, it is one of the character in the story of the Rim of Ancient Mariner written by Samuel Coleridge. Okay, so this Ancient Mariner, once when this Ancient Mariner and other sailors, when they were sailing, okay, a powerful wind took them towards the south. Okay, and made them to, that means, and made their ship stuck in the ice. Okay, and all the time this bird, at that time the bird albatross, okay, came there and saved them. Okay, and everyone considered this bird albatross is a kind of omen, that means a good omen. Okay, so as this bird helped them to take the ship and bring to the sailing. Okay, so they thought this bird as a bird of omen. Okay, but after a few days this Ancient Mariner, he shot the bird. Okay, then again what happened to their ship? Their ship went to the place, that is a place where there was no life, that means there was no sign of life. So the other sailors, okay, they blamed this Ancient Mariner because he shot or killed that bird. They thought this has happened. Okay, and afterwards they tied that bird to his neck. Okay, and this Ancient Mariner, in order to get rid of this sin, okay, he stood there. That means he started spreading the message to the people, saying that we must take care of the God's creation, whether it is a small or a big. Okay, so I think you all understood. Ancient Mariner, one of the sailor in the ship. Okay, as they were on the water, that means on the voyage, they were stuck. That means the ship was gone to the south and it was stuck to the ice, and the bird later on, it saved them. Okay, and they considered this bird as a bird of good omen. So after some time, what happened? This person, he shot the bird. Okay, and again their ship had caught. That means it went to a place where there was no sign of life. And these sailors, they thought it is because of him. Okay, so what did they do? They tied the dead bird to his neck. And this person, in order to get rid of his sin, what did he do? He started spreading the message, okay, that saying that we must take care of the creation of the God, whether it is a small or a big. So now this jazz musician is compared to this Ancient Mariner. Okay, jazz musician is compared to Ancient Mariner. So what is the purpose of the Ancient Mariner? He is standing there to give the message to the people. What is that message? Whatever the God's creation, it is our duty to save. Okay, so he is standing there to give the message to the people. Similarly, This jazz musician has been sent down. Why? To spread the gospel of jazz. So what is jazz? It's a music. Okay, so he is being compared to ancient mariner. I think you all understood. Okay, so there he stands, see. Okay, who is he? A jazz musician. Where is he standing? On the hill of the mountain. That is on the crest of the mountain. And he is standing like a ancient mariner. So jazz musician is compared to a ancient mariner. So comparison is made. So this is called as a figure of speech simile. Okay, so his wrinkled old face is so full of wearies of living. Okay, how is his face? His face is old, wrinkled. Okay, and it is full of wearies of living. Wearies of living means no longer interested or enthusiastic about anything in life. Okay, so his face was old, wrinkled, and full of wearies. That means full of worries. Okay, turned down with the closed eyes. That is, his eyes were looking down. Okay, and he is not interested to look outside. Next line. His frayed collar, faded blue old shirt turns dark with the sweat, and the old necktie undone drops loosely. Okay, frayed. Frayed means thread in a piece of cloth. So frayed collar. So you could see that threads have come apart from the collar. Okay, then faded blue old shirt turns. So it tells about his shirt. So what's the color of the shirt? It's blue. Okay, and what has become to his shirt? It has become old, faded. Okay, his shirt has become old and faded, and it has turned dark. Okay, why it has become dark? Because of the sweat. Okay, and the old necktie undone. Okay, his necktie was not set properly. Okay, and it drops loosely. That means it was not set properly. Okay, about the old jacket. So his necktie was not arranged or set properly. Okay, it was it is found loosely on his old jacket. Okay, so this line, it explains that he has closed his eyes and he has worn a frayed collar. Okay, a frayed collar means you could see threads coming out from his collar, and his shirt was blue, but it has become old and faded, and it has become dark due to sweat. Okay, and his necktie, it was not done, that means set properly. It was undone, it was loose, and it was on the old jacket. Okay, next line. Just barely holding his sagging stomach in, his run out shoes have a paper in them and his. Okay, so next line it says that his worn out jacket, that is his old jacket, just barely holding his sagging stomach. Okay, his jacket was old. Okay, sagging stomach means, sagging means, okay, an abdomen was hanging. Okay, and it was not holding his jacket properly. So his abdomen was not holding his jacket properly. So his old, just barely holding his sagging stomach. Sagging means his abdomen was hanging and it was not holding his jacket properly. Okay, and his run down shoes have paper in them. Okay, so he says his shoes were torn. Okay, and you can find that papers were inserted in them. Okay, so this line says that his jacket was old and it could not hold his sagging stomach, and his shoes were also torn and he had inserted paper in them. Okay, next line. His rough, unshaven face shows pain in each wrinkle, but there he stands in self-brought solitude head. Okay, So next here it says his face. Okay, he is describing, that is the poet is telling about his face. How is his face? His face is unshaven, that is it was not shaved. Okay, his face was rough and unshaven. Okay, face, that means it shows his pain. Okay, why does he shows pain? Because he is not at all interested in the worldly pleasure. Okay, and he has sent down, that means he has been sent down to the earth to deliver some religious preaching to the whole world. So it shows that in each wrinkle, that means each wrinkle means it shows his pain. Okay, but there he stand. So there he stand means he has a purpose in life. Okay, he has come down to the earth to preach the gospel of jazz. Okay, so there he stand means he has been standing there for a purpose, and he stands there in a self brought solitude. Okay, so he who asked to stand there, it was he himself, self imposed and solitude. That means he is standing alone. Still closed ears, perked and trained upon the bass line, across his chest lies an old alto saxophone. Still down eyes, still closed ears. Okay, here he says that, the writer says that he stands on the mountain and his eyes look downwards and even his ears are closed. Okay, he has perked and trained upon the bass line. So what is bass line? Sound of the lowest range, in order to hear the sound of the music. So his ears are active and alert. Okay, so still down eyes, still closed ears, perked and trained upon the, that means trained upon his bass line. That means his bass line, that is you could see the old saxophone is across his chest like an old alto saxophone. So where does the saxophone lies? It lies across the chest. Okay, and so this paragraph, it tells us about that he stood alone, that means on the mountain, and his eyes looked down and his ears are also closed. Okay, and he was trained, that means his voice, which was a likely and trained one, and you could see the saxophone, it was tied across his chest. An old alto saxophone supported from his neck by a wire coat hanger, gently he lifts it now to parted lips see. Okay, so alto saxophone supported from his neck by a wire coat hanger, and gently he lifts it to parted lips. Okay, so where does he saw old saxophone lie? So old saxophone was hanged to his neck. Okay, what does the wire coat hanger support? The wire coat hanger supports the saxophone. Okay, where does he lift the musical instrument? He lifted his musical instrument to play with the parted lips. So these four lines, it says that the old saxophone was hanging to the neck by a wire coat hanger, and he gently lifts that saxophone to play with his parted lips. Tell all the world that he is a black man, that he was sent here to preach the black gospel of jazz, now preaching it with the words of screaming notes. So here, tell the world. So what does the jazz musician has to tell? He has to tell to the whole world that he is a black man, he is a downtrodden, and he is exploited. And they say that tell the whole world that he is a black man and he has been sent here to preach the black gospel of jazz. That means he has been sent here for the purpose by the God. That is, he has been sent to preach the black gospel of jazz. So in this line you are going to learn that the old jazz musician wanted to tell to the world that he is a black man, he is a downtrodden, and he has been sent to preach the black gospel of jazz. Okay, and you know that black gospel of jazz refers to the music that writer expresses a command belief regarding to the African American Christian life, okay, which was popular in the mid of 20th century. No, not even a black man, but a bird, one that gathers his wings and flies high, 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 higher until he flies away or come back to find himself a black man again. Okay, so screaming notes means a loud musical sound. Okay, so screaming notes and chord, that means he is no longer a man. The people who are listening to the music, okay, they have transferred, that means he transferred himself. He is no longer a man, not even a black man. So here he, while playing this chord music, he had transferred into a bird, okay, and he flies high, high, higher until he flies away. Okay, so this lines, it tells that he was, while he was preaching a black gospel of jazz, okay, by the loud music sound, when he started to preach, he was transferred into a bird, okay, and the bird gathers its wings and flies high, high, high and higher until it flies away. Okay, otherwise he would have come back to the once again to come back to find himself as a black man again. Okay, so this is the poem. I think you all have understood.